Hello and welcome to the qualifying session for the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's the inaugural Malaysian Grand Prix in Sunday League Virtual. We've never had a race at this track. It's one of the 4 new tracks introduced for this season. I'm very excited to get underway here. We'll have a little flick through, as we always do, of the team upgrades. So 8 out of 10 teams went for a grip upgrade this week. Something never seen before so one-sidedly in Sunday League Virtual history. We'll see how these teams got on. Team Velocity, British Aerial Racing, Spa Motorsport, and Nuri Racing Team, and T8 and Thunder X all failed their grip upgrades. FVR, PMP, and BFX, the only teams to succeed in their grip upgrades. That's the 8 grip teams. The only teams that didn't go for grip were WTEC and SFR. They both succeeded in their respective upgrades. WTEC succeeding speed, which was only on 31% chance probability. Chance probability, I'm aware, is the same thing. SFR going for turbo, much higher at 66%, also a success for them. So for next week, all upgrades, acceleration will rise by 10%, speed and turbo will rise by 6% each, while grip, I believe, will sink by 22%, from 57% down to just 35%. Very interesting there. We'll run through the tokens when we see the final results screen for qualifying at the end of this session. The leaders have finished their laps and we'll see how everybody else does. On pole position, Vlad0204 takes pole. Pit crew alongside him on the front row. Then we've got Rito in 3rd place, Levioso sharing the 2nd row of the grid with him. It's Grandi and Bluebell Boy 3rd row with Anti and Menica behind. Somehow I made it, making it a double top 10 quali for SFR and Hanandi. Same for KRT. Going down the rest of the pack, Andres, our current championship leader, qualifying in 11th. Jaruni and Kubo 12th and 13th. Then we've got Sobel looking to improve on last race, where he could only manage 18th place. Spuda same with his 19th. Jake Brad and Ikeloski, sorry, I'm still trying to pronounce that correctly, not doing quite as well as they did last time out. They secured 2nd and 5th place in Buenos Aires. Urist in 18th on the grid. G4 not having such an upturn in form. He's still 19th. Game on Goose in 20th. In terms of token spendage, Team Velocity is using 0 tokens for Urist, explaining his 18th place in qualifying, 1 token for Kubo. No tokens being spent at the FBR garage, with Goose qualifying 20th, Jaruni in 12th. 2 for Grandi and 2 for Pit Crew, explaining their 2nd and 5th places in qualifying. None for Spuda nor Andres, still a respectable 11th and 15th for them. Looks like that speed upgrade has worked out for them. None for Anti, 1 for Somehow I Made It. Anti qualifying in 7th with no tokens is very impressive. He's really got in tune with that car that he's built himself. Somehow Made It being out qualified despite using more tokens. Jake Brad and Ikeloski not using any themselves. The big shock here, Hetmenica using 4 tokens in what is essentially a home race away from home for him in Sepang, his first ever Grand Prix he watched in real life. Qualifying 8th, but last week, Andres, the man spending 4 tokens, went on to win the race after starting in the 8th grid slot. So can we see a repeat from the other Dutchman on the grid today? We'll have to wait and see. Sobel, I suppose, is also the other Dutchman, but still. 2 spent for his teammate Levioso, who had an impressive qualifying considering just 2 tokens, 4th place on the grid for him. Vlado204, 3 tokens spent for him, worth it for a pole position by 0.3 of a second. None for his teammate Hanandi, who still gets into the top 10, very impressive there. None for Sobel, qualifying in 14th, 2 for G4, qualifying in 19th, terrible for them. And Bluebell Boy finally using 2 tokens, that's gotten him his 6th place qualifying. His teammate Rito just using 1. Rito managing to still defy all laws of pace and form by just spending very few tokens, getting fantastic results, qualifying 3rd on the grid. We're nearly ready to get going here in Sepang. It's going to be a fully wet start, but it will clear up soon. We're underway here for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Vlado 204 leads them away from pole position. Picker in the background. Rito battling Levioso as well. Bluebell Boy looking to make a move. Grandy, we get the SFRs going side by side in the background. Bluebell to the inside of Grandy as they sweep through the chicanes here. Grandy looking to hold him off. Pitcairn around the outside of Levioso, up the inside of Rito, not quite, but Grandy looking for a move on Levioso himself. Can he get the THX up into second, into third and fourth? He can. Bluebell looking for a move as Rito gets passed by pit crew. Vlado 204 still out in the lead of the race. The perfect start for him away from pole. Grandy bumped into the wall there. Pit crew and Rito drag race down the straight. Pit crew with the speed on that car just managing to pull away a little bit. Bluebell now putting pressure on his teammate. Bluebell using an extra token today, looking to make his way through. He has done so. Levioso behind him looking for a move inside. It's double right-hander. He does get that move done. We've got a big pack in the background. Hetmenica still where he started in 8th place. Cars battling behind him. Hanandi and Anti, cars battling ahead of him. Grandy and somehow I made it. And he closer battles further up. Rito still being pressured by Levioso into the final corner. Lev sort of dummies a move. Rito covers off the defender. They both make it through the corner safely. Lev can use a little bit of boost in. He has a little half look up the inside. Doesn't really go for anything there. Pit crew has caught Vlado 204 battling now for the lead of the race. Pit crew only using 2 tokens. ThunderX would love a win today. Pit crew goes down the inside of the hairpin. Vlado 2 finds the grip on the outside, particularly difficult in wet conditions, and does manage to fight that one back. That's brought Bluebell into the battle here. A lot of bees there. Crikey. They're all coming in to pit onto dry compound tyres now. As we see all the cars file in, anyone getting blocked. Levioso a little bit. Kubo nicks the safety car as he goes to pit. Classic. And we've got somehow made it right out behind Andres, all in this little train of cars there. Bluebell leapt pit crew out of the pit lane. He's now the one challenging for the lead of the race. Pit crew over a second off the front running 2. Vlado 204 pitted for mediums, looking to still hold that advantage that he's had from the race start in first place and try and pull away in this first stint. We'll look at some of the close battles down the pack as Hetmenica goes to the inside of Rito to the final corner. Rito's not letting that go too easily, but Hetmenica, as is his teammate, is on the soft compound tyres. They're going to look to make a quick, sharp impact up the grid, take as many positions as they can before they have to dive in for another set of tyres. Right, pit crew once again putting some pressure on Bluebell, who's dropped back from Vlado 2. They're both on the hard compound tyres. Pit crew to the outside of the penultimate corner. Can't find the racing line there. Pit crew now just having a little look up the inside there. Nothing much doing. Levioso though has caught this pack battling for second, third, and now fourth place as Lev joins the battle. Pit crew does get through on Bluebell Boy. Levioso still hanging there in the background as Bluebell desperately tries to scrap that position back, forces Pit crew onto the curb and does get it back round the outside at the chicanes. A beautiful overtaking manoeuvre. Hetmenica now up into a great position as well. So in Sunday League Virtual, it's often encouraged for team owners to not have their drivers spend lots of tokens in the same races for fear of them battling each other, losing pointless positions, pointless time. We'll have to see how Het and Lev deal with this here. They're on the same strategy, so we're going to have to get a multi-21 here in Malaysia. Sounding familiar already. Bluebell and Pit crew still running in second and third. Pit crew looking really aggressive here to the outside at the hairpin. Does keep it slightly onto the grass there. Nearly was about to say keeps it neat, but doesn't quite get away with that one. Bluebell still right on his tail. Levioso, a little mistake into the final corner. Bluebell back up the inside before they reach the final corner. Levioso looking to block off his teammate currently. He's going to have to let him through. Surely Vlado 2 already 2 corners ahead of the rest. He's increased his gap by 2 seconds. He's not even the highest token spender this race. That title goes to Hetmenica, who's currently stuck at the back of the straight in 5th place. Battles further down the pack, somehow made it, and Andres battling over 8th and 9th. Andres to the inside of the sharp right-hander. Through the chicanes he goes, and that's a pretty easy overtaking manoeuvre for the man who's not using any tokens this race, in fact, but maybe just the speed upgrade that the team's just slapped onto the car really helping them out, along with, of course, all their other attributes, which seem to be immensely successful. They are the most upgraded car in Sunday League Virtual. which is just incredible. They got an upgrade every single race last season and have essentially had the strongest car in every department pretty much but speed. So the fact the new team principal Hasm's willing to invest in that is a good sign for the team going forward to try and get better results on tracks that really are speed dependent. Bluebell Boy being under attack from Hetmenica here, whose tyres are starting to go off, but that still does allow him a straight line speed advantage, but he does pile into the pit lane again behind his teammate. Are they going to go for mixed strategy? Levioso on the mediums, Hetmenica also on the mediums, same strategy still for both of them. Levioso looking to cover off Rito on the pit exit there, doesn't quite manage it, not in 5th place, he's down into 6th. Rito maybe looking to hold them up a little bit here to help out his teammate Bluebell Boy, who's been in a fierce battle with the SPMs and pit crew so far. Pit crew still in 2nd place, Vlado 2 still leading the way. Coming up to lap Ikolowski now, who's running in last place after pitting for a 2nd time. Pit crew and Bluebell Boy going at it once more. Pit crew just covers off the racing line going to the corner, gives Bluebell a little bit of a squeeze. It has worked. Bluebell not able to attack their pit crew, still holds on to 2nd place. Remember, these guys are on the identical strategy, so it really is an all-out fight for position here. Bluebell to the outside of the hairpin, nearly keeps it tidy there, just loses out. And with that inside line, very compromised racing line into the next corner. Can't make the most of that move, but he does get a good exit out of the penultimate corner. Can he go for a move into the final corner? He's going for it. He does manage it on the exit of the corner, gets better acceleration out of it, and is now up into 2nd place. Fantastic, fantastic for him. He's looking for his 2nd ever podium in Sunday League Virtual. Took his 1st podium last season with FVR. Now we have the SPM cars battling each other. Hetmenica and Levioso, surely Lev looking to let his teammate through here. I mean, this is really hurting Het, the fact that he's still in 6th place and we're, have a quarter of the race done already. I mean, it's got to just let him through. Hetmenica and Levioso both looking for a move on Grandi here. They both get the double overtake done. Levioso defending from his teammate though. Hetmenica looks to the inside into the 1st corner, outside into the 2nd corner. Nothing doing. Lev still defending, but they are slowly catching Bluebell and pit crew, especially with lap cars now getting in the way. Sobel and Spuda, as we saw them last race, right down the end of the order. Pit crew leading the race. Bluebell in 2nd, Levioso, then Hetmenica, Grandi and Vlado 2, who just last lap pitted for fresh medium compound tyres. Then we've got Rito in 7th place, Andres in 8th, tokenless is he. So is the Anti-Amazing running in 9th, and G4 in the top 10 for SPM, the worst car on the grid. Fascinating there. Can he make it the top 9? He looks opportunistically to the outside there. He is on quite worn, hard compound tyres, so he will have to pit and sink back down the order. But, he's spent 2 tokens this race. I mean, if you're in a car that bad, I'd even advise dumping a few more than 2, because if you get 4, you're at least pretty much guaranteed some points. 2, it's more marginal here, unless he really does believe that he can spend later on when they try and improve the car. We've got a great battle here though. 8th, 9th and 10th, Anti-Amazing, Kubo and Hanandi on wearing out mediums. Kubo, similar age softs, Anti, pretty old hards, goes into the pit lane now, sacrifices Kubo's exit out of the final corner. Does that allow Hanandi to get through? No, the straight line speed with those softs just allowing Kubo to stick ahead for the time being. Looks like we've got an SPM 1-2. Hetmenica and Levioso still not able to get off each other. Levioso takes back the lead of the race going into the final corner, carrying on, battling one another. Vlado 2 just 2 seconds behind them now on much fresher medium compound tyres, so these guys are going to need to pit at some point pretty soon. Pit crew in 4th place, Bluebell in 5th, and we've got Grandi and Rito just now having stopped for softs. Can he come out ahead of Kubo and Hanandi? This battling pack for 8th. He can and does stretch that gap very nicely as they struggle on their more worn tyres. As the rest of the top 10 somehow made it just running in that final point scoring position. Pit crew, Vlado 2, Hetmenek, Levioso down the inside into turn 1. Oh my god, the SPMs battling their heads off over here. Surely would think they'd just say, Lev, hold position, this is not your race to win, multi 2-1 Lev, multi 2-1, but they're not doing it, and Het takes the lead back, as he probably should be, because of that extra token expenditure that he's got, they should not be battling. It's just wasting them time to Vlado2 and Pit Crew, who are really not that far behind, and they'll probably both have to go in on the same lap. That's this lap. They both do dive into the pit lane. They're going to go for the same strategy again. Het pits, he gets in Levs away because they're double stacking. They both go for another set of mediums. Great. Brilliant strategy here down at SPM. Not even trying to alternate car strategy, just letting them fight one another on track. They should just be working together to get maximum points. Lev, because of the double stack, now over a second and a half adrift of his teammate Grandy, actually looking to make the move there, which is very opportunistic. He's on the slower and slightly older tyres, but he does just catch Lev napping through that double right-hander, and he promotes himself up into 5th place, spending 2 tokens a day, not doing as well as his more junior teammate Pit Crew, who's running in 2nd with a definite challenge to 1st place with Vlado2 on older medium compound tyres and Pit Crew on more durable hards. Right, we'll see Bluebell in 3rd place. Het looking to take that back off him. He just recently stopped for the mediums, as we saw. He's looking to try and break under a second to Bluebell. He has now Levioso really dropping back, having to battle with Hernandi for 5th place, now 3 seconds back from his teammate. Probably not the way they'd want the SPM fight to end, but it's now stopped the teammate battling issue, so at least they can be thankful for that. Het Medica looking to really catch a stride here. Pit Crew, really interestingly, now trying to cause some actual problems for Vlado2 here. Just closing this gap down. Again, he's on the hards, which will be lasting longer, which will be able to stop later, which will maybe even be able to overcut, take fresher tyres towards the end. Looks like, yes, Jake Brad swept into the pits by Jaruni there. That's one of the risks that you do run there. Pit Crew and Bluebell going for it. 3 wide into turn 1 as Het Medica joins the battle and creates a double overtaking manoeuvre going out of turn 2. Brilliant move from the racer there. He's up into 1st place, Vlado2, as we saw in the background, pitting down into 6th behind Grandy. He's going to have to re-overtake him. Levioso running in a race of his own. Pit Crew chasing down Bluebell, chasing down Het, who's now into the lead of the race, and he's still got a while left to go on those tyres, so he could pull a pretty huge overcut on Vlado 204, who's currently fitted these soft compound tyres. So the way things are looking, Het won't be pitting that much earlier than Vlad, maybe a couple laps. Pit Crew in 2nd, Het in 1st. We've got a battle going on for 5th and 6th. Bluebell having just pitted, stuck behind Grandy, who seems to be the one car that's still just clutching onto this pack, not really involved in the battle for the podium as it is, but still running those old hards, using 2 tokens in what is a pretty good THX car, still just clinging onto this pack, and that's not allowing a clean gap for anybody who wants to pit, because what that means is every single time that Vlad pits and Bluebell pits, they'll come out behind Grandy, and it, as you've seen here with Bluebell, despite much fresher, much softer tyres, still takes him a while to battle past that wide THX car. Grandy looking to just slow down these races, not just for himself of course, but for his teammate, who's currently in 2nd place as he muscles through on Levioso. He's on much older tyres though, should be in this lap. He is. Levioso and Het Medica now 1st and 2nd for SPM. Could they take the first ever 1-2 in Sunday League virtual history? We've never seen it done before, but it potentially is on the cards today. Het Medica and Levioso representing the team. Vlado2 lapping the anti-amazing down in 13th place. Bluebell a little bit back, but we've got Grandy, the aforementioned cork in the bottle for these front runners and their pit stops. Pit Crew now having pit behind him. Crikey. He's going to have to probably just let his teammate through. I reckon Grandy could be in to stop for new tyres before Pit Crew catches him, although not at that rate if he gets shoved by a back marker. This is your race team reminder that back markers are not obliged to follow blue flags. They may battle for position as much as they want, but obviously if you're not racing somebody, there isn't much point in doing so. You'd much rather take the slipstream or the clean air. We've got Hernandi, Andres, and Somehow I Made It all battling down the order. They're in 7th, 8th and 9th place. We'll see Somehow I Made It get through on Andres on very old hard compound tyres, very worn there. He's got to be surely into the pit lane this lap. Somehow made it, and Nandi on pretty similar life medium compound tyres. They're hunting each other down. Nandi just trying to escape here on slightly fresher mediums. Grandy in 6th place, his teammate Pit Crew gone past and flying past, with Grandy really stretching those hards out now. He's been on them for quite a few laps. He's only stopped twice so far in this race, the only driver bar Andres to have only stopped twice. Pit Crew in 5th now, hunting down Bluebell. Bluebell on much older softs, and we see Vlado 2 come into the pits now for a new set of tyres. They are the mediums. Pit Crew and Bluebell still battling it out. Pit Crew to the outside into the fast right hand bend. Can he make a move? He can't. He can try and get up the inside into the chicanes. Once again to the outside. Can he go all the way round the outside into the double right hander, which leads to the inside going to the hairpin? Brilliant move, but G4 gets in the way. Bluebell looks to have a move back. Pit Crew gets him back round the outside of the hairpin. Bluebell gets him back into the inside of the penultimate corner. What a brilliant battle we've had on this last lap. Pit Crew forces his way past at the final corner. Will that be the end of this fighting action, with Bluebell's softs really starting to wear out? It just might be. Levioso emerges back onto the track. He's now ahead of Grandy on a lap fresher medium, so Grandy pretty officially out of that battle with the top 5. Vlado 2 in 4th, and we've got Bluebell in 3rd. Pit Crew now fully through on him, and Hetmenica still leading the way pretty safely, pretty comfortably. He'll be very happy with that. Interesting indeed. Pit Crew really stretching clear now, so we'll do a little tyre rundown. Hetmenica on pretty good condition mediums, Pit Crew on slightly less condition hards. Vlado 204 on decent mediums, pretty nice, even only stopped for those recently. Levioso on pretty fresh mediums. Bluebell on the freshest of the tyres. Grandy not on bad tyres either, so everyone's pretty recently stopped, mainly for mediums as it looks. Kubo, interestingly enough, up into 7th place. That's great for him. He's on hards, which will still have a good bit of life left in them. Nandi's mediums, you cannot say the same for us. Hetmenica comes up to lap the man running in 8th place to the outside at the hairpin. Pretty easily done there. He's going to have to just try and struggle and keep ahead of Rito, who'll be in a few laps as well. Somehow made it running in the final point scoring position, and he's going to really struggle to hold off Andres here, as Andres on much fresher hard compound tyres. Somehow made it, and Nandi both dive into the pit lane. Then we've got G4 running just outside the points. He'd be disappointed to use 2 tokens and not score with them. Jake Brad running very old mediums, he'll surely be in this lap. 13th place for him, using no tokens. Anti-Amazing after a good start, down to 14th, but he has recently pitted for new mediums. Ekolowski in 15th. They're going to double stack here at BAR. They've timed that pretty perfectly. The cars don't get in each other's way. We've got Urist in 17th, and we've got Spuda and Game on Goose Sobel running well adrift out the back of the pack. Nobody in the front crew stopped yet, but Pit Crew, talking of crews, is going for a real challenge at Levioso, who is on fresher, softer tyres. He's on the mediums, Pit Crew on the hards, and Pit Crew's hards are more worn out, but still looking to try and take that fight to Levioso. Levioso looking to make a double podium for SPM here. He goes to the inside of Pit Crew, going into the hairpin. Pit Crew tries to fight back into the next corner, just can't quite manage anything there. Have a look, actually, taking a look just at last season, and I don't think that we ever had a double podium. Not sure that we did. No. I think our best result for a team was 1st and 4th place, plus fastest lap, which came maybe not at... I might be mistaken here. Yes, no, it came with the Hungaro ring. Eurist winning, Yoshi Josh in 4th place. Rest in peace, Yoshi Josh. Really relegated down the leagues now, and Yoshi took fastest lap that resulted in 38 points for the team, which is a fantastic haul for them. Pit Crew goes through as we see Rito in the background into the pits. They'll sink him outside of the points running positions, right? So SPM could make it a first ever by taking a double podium, let alone a 1-2, but Vlado 204 using a token more than Levioso is going to look to be the man to stop that, as Hetmanek essentially has a pit stop gap. Well, we'll see if it's a pit stop gap because he's coming in now on the rest of the pack. Vlado 2 and Levioso make their way through the penultimate corner up into the final hairpin. Now Hetmanek on his softs emerges from the pit lane and comes out a corner and a second and a bit clear of those behind him, also on worn tyres. So it looks like Hetmanek has this one pretty safely secured in the bag. Levioso and Vlad is our battle here. Levioso on marginally fresher mediums, stopping slightly later than Vlado 204, who looked really good towards the start of this race as Het was being held up. But I just think that with a relatively competitive car, with 4 tokens being spent, you can't really compete with somebody at that standard. Andres, the back marker, getting a penalty for pushing Vlado 204 off, which is perfectly fair in my opinion. Sobel, a couple laps down now, just getting in the way of Levioso, which will do no end of good to Vlad. He does eventually have to let him go. Levioso still running in 3rd place, Hetmanek still out in 1st, still really looking good for the SPM team. Further back, Bluebell just coming up to lap his teammate, having just done that. He's in 4th place, 8 seconds adrift of Lev, but on fresh tyres. So, as Vlado 204 pits, we'll see his progression, and it does look like he'll come out clear of Bluebell's. Bluebell, you can see on the mini-map, a white dot rounding the final corner does come into view as Vlad comes out of the pit lane, but Vlad on slightly fresher soft now, with about a second's gap, shows that Bluebell not really in for a chance at the podium anymore. Lev, however, by extending this extra lap, so on the mediums, could be badly undercut, especially with only 4 laps to go. Really interesting there. He'll have to come in at the end of this lap. He will for a very, very short stint on the softs. So has he got the strategy wrong here? Was it the best move to pit on the same lap as Vlad? Might have been, as he gets undercut by Vlad, nearly undercut by Bluebell. They go side by side into turn 1. Lev really under pressure from Bluebell here. Tries to look up the inside. This is Bluebell's one chance. He realises to get that podium while he's still really close to Lev, not able to have Lev make full advantage of those fresher tyres. Bluebell though just slipping back, and his chances of a podium slipping away. But Levioso really looking at a hard challenge here to fight, tackle, hunt down Vlado 204. Yes, those are all synonyms. Levioso through turn 1. About a second and a bit adrift. Bluebell closer to Lev than Lev is to Vlad. Pit crew only using 2 tokens. He's in 5th, his teammate Grandy behind him in 6th, also using 2 tokens. Earlier we saw actually Eurus, I think, forced into the pit lane, had a really messy stop there, so he's on pretty fresh soft as a result of that. Not helped his race at all, but I don't think it could really get any worse, to be totally honest. He's down in 17th place. Could be worse. Spoon is 17 seconds behind him, Sober 4 seconds behind him, nearly being lapped by Eurus. In fact, already being lapped by Jake Brown in 15th. Right. Battles higher up, Hetmanek in the league of his own. Who would have thought? Vlado 204, 9 seconds adrift as we go onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. Vlad still looking to hold that gap over Lev. This will be the battle that we follow. Lev on marginally 1 lap fresher softs to see if they can take a historic first ever 1-2 finish in Sunday League Virtual. We're on to the final lap here. This is the battle for 2nd place. This is what's really going to matter for Spire Motorsports. This is 3 points extra if Lev can take this position off Vlado 204, and every point matters in the Sunday League Virtual Constructors standings and the Drivers standings too. Hetmanek rounding the penultimate corner looks to have this one absolutely in the bag. He does go through it now, and Hetmanek across the line wins the Season 2 Malaysian Grand Prix. Levioso stuck behind Spooder there. Vlado 2 just gets his way through the back markers and will take 2nd place and a podium for KRT. But Levioso historically makes it a first ever double podium for a team in Sunday League Virtual, SBM 1 and 3 here in Malaysia. Fantastic result for that team. Bluebell Boy in 4th place, Pit Crew in 5th. Grandy, his teammate, just behind him. We'll have a look at the full results screen. It was Menica, winner of the Malaysian Grand Prix, Vlado 204. In 2nd place, Levioso. In 3rd, so close to a 1-2 finish for the team in yellow and black. Bluebell Boy in 4th place, he'll take the fastest lap of the race, Pit Crew. And Grandy 5th and 6th, taking home a very respectable 18 points for THX. 7th goes Kubo's way, fantastic result for him, his first points in Sunday League Virtual. Somehow I made it in 8th place, Andres in 9th, and Hanandi spending no tokens in the top 10. So was Andres in 9th, spending no tokens. Somehow made it, spending 1 token. Kubo spending 1 token. Grandy and Pit Crew spending 2 each. Bluebell spending 2. Levioso spending 2. Vlado 2 spending 3. And Hemenica spending 4. So a pretty proportional final results screen there. But further down, G4 agonisingly close to his first ever points in Sunday League Virtual. PMP's first points of the season. Not quite managing it there. 11th place for him in the green, yellow, black PMP car. Rito in 12th place for BBB Force X. A terrible race for him in the end. He spent a token and just couldn't make anything of that. So BBB Force X looking to try and make some more upgrades on that car to allow the man who won the Constructors last season, came runner-up in the Drivers and came 4th place last race, to allow him to flourish a bit more with his token spendage. Anti-Amazing off a strong start, down in 13th place. Giroudi in 14th for FBR. He was their lead car that race, as neither of them spent any tokens. Jake Brad and Nikolowski 15th and 16th, also a tokenless team today. Eurus in 17th place for Team Velocity. Spuda takes 18th, another really poor result for him. Absolutely decimated by his teammate Andres, who finished 44 seconds ahead of him, over a lap ahead. Neither of them using any tokens, so maybe qualifying position, start of the race, that's really what matters here. Spuda just not quite there. Game on Goose in 19th place, and Sobel making it 20th place for him, an average finishing position of 19th so far for him this season, and the 2nd consecutive race where the final finishing car has been a PMP. That's all that we're getting for today. I really hope that you've enjoyed what was a fascinating and brilliant Malaysian Grand Prix with a 5-way fight for the podium. Plenty of battling, plenty of strategy, and really good fun. I hope to see you guys next time out for the jewel in the crown of the Sunday League Virtual Calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix. Until then, bye bye.